Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We met again at my channel, Bapak Ahim. In this channel, we are going to talk about contrast, concession, exactly about although versus in spite of or despite of. First, I'm Mr. Ahim here because I like to give presentation. You can find me at abdu_2 or abdu_him. Yeah, maybe. Okay, at first, although, even though, in spite of, despite, are all used to link to contrasting ideas or show that one fact makes the other fact surprising. They can all be used at the beginning or in the middle of the sentences. Okay, so here, although, even though, in spite of, or despite of are used to link, to correlate, to contrast idea, to contrast statement, to contrast sentences or idea. Show one fact, make the other fact surprising. So you can find the what we call it. This is contrasting idea in the or although, even though, in spite of, despite of, in the middle or in the beginning of the sentences. First one, clause of concessions. Although is always following by clause. Even though also is always following by clause. In spite of is always following by a noun, for noun or verb ing. And despite of is always following by a noun, for noun or verb ing. So that is the differences between them. Even though they all have the same meaning, but for the usage, when you want to use it, is so got the different way. So based on the context that you want to use, or based on the style of the writing that you want to use. Okay, first one is spite of and despite. In spite of and despite are the same usage. So it's up to you if you want to use the in spite of or despite or despite. They are all in the same meaning. You can either use in spite of or despite of to present the same meaning. Okay, first one, in spite of the fine weather, they stay at home. And the second one, despite the fine weather, they stay at home. So between in spite of and despite of got the same meaning. So it's up to you when you want to use one of two. There's no another what were the differences meaning when you want to use in spite of or despite of. Contrast, something that one fact that's following by another surprising fact. In spite of the fine weather, they stay at home. In spite of the fine weather, they stay at home. So when you look at just sunny day, but you just stay at home. You see that sunny day outside of your room, but you decided to just stay at home. That's a fact. That's a fact that's following by another surprising fact. In spite of this, the sunny days, the fine weather, the sunny day. So look, what we call it? It's chill outside. It's to be chill when you go out. But, or in spite of, you just stay at home. That's what I mean. Talk about concession and contrast. One fact that following that following with another fact that give the fact before is surprising. Despite is also the same. We just move to in spite of, despite of. After in spite of and despite, we use noun, gerund, verb ing, or verb or pronouns. Like I said before, they never made much money. In spite of their success, yeah. Their success is pronoun, yeah. Their pronoun. So we are going to use in spite of or despite of. We cannot use although, yeah. They never made much money. In spite of, despite of their success. We cannot use here although their success. That's a string, that's weird and grammatically. Okay, move. In spite of the pain in his leg, he completed the marathon. In spite of the pain is noun, yeah. In his leg, the pain is noun. So in spite of, despite of is always following by noun, or pronoun, and verb ing. Yeah. If you see that verb ing, zeren here. Yeah. He completed the marathon. Yeah. So it doesn't what we call it. Doesn't matter that his leg is hurt or get a pain. He still completed the marathon. Yeah. One fact that following by another surprising fact. Yeah. Despite having a headache, yeah, I had a great birthday. Okay, you got a headache, you got a headache, and you had a great birthday. Yeah, it's time for your birthday, but you got a headache. Yeah. Despite having a headache, I had a great birthday. Despite having here is gerund, so the correct concession or the correct contrast of the word or linking of word is despite or in spite of. We cannot use although, we cannot use even though, we cannot use though also. Yeah. Okay, the train was cancelled. In spite of that, we arrived on time. Yeah, we arrived on time. Okay, in spite of that, that is back to the train. Yeah, it's back to the train. Not the close of the train was cancelled, but in spite of that, that here is back to the train. Yeah, so the correct concession is in spite of. Okay, that one being not here, not that is common to use in spite of and despite with the expression the fact that followed by a subject and verb. Yeah. In spite of the fact that he worked very hard, he didn't pass the exam. So maybe a lot of book, a lot of native speaker always says the fact that. So if you see the fact that and then blah 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 blah, the fact that he worked very hard, he didn't pass the exam. So the answer is always in spite of or despite of. One of the characteristic of in spite of and despite of is there is a word or phrase or sentence, the fact that. Yeah, talk about fact. Despite the fact that he worked very hard, he didn't pass the exam. So both of them are the same meaning. Yeah, it's up to you when you want to use in spite of, when you want to use despite it. Despite, it's up to you. Yeah, that's still correct. Okay. Now we're going to talk about although or even though. After although and even though, we use the subject and the verb even though is slightly stronger, more emphatic than although. Okay, here although here actually Although and even though get the same meaning, but even though is stronger than although. Yeah, slightly stronger and emphatic, more emphatic. Yeah, more get emphasize of the sentences. Yeah, even though, although, even though. Yeah, even both of them get the same meaning. Yeah, but if you want to get more emphasize or emphatic of the sentences, you just put the even though. I enjoyed the course, although I would have liked more grammar practice. Yeah, I enjoyed the course, although I would have liked more grammar practice. I would have liked more grammar practice is a clause. Like I said in the first or the second slide or the third slide before, that although or even though is always following by clause. A clause is containing subject, verb, object, complement. It's a clause. Yeah. Although I would have liked more grammar practice. So we move to the second one. Although we saw each other every day, we didn't really know each other. Although we saw each other every day. We saw each other every day is a clause. So the suitable concession of the word is although or even though when you want to say it. We didn't really know each other. Okay, we move to the even though, the example of even though. Even though she spoke very quietly, yeah. Even though she spoke very quietly, he understood every word. Okay, he understood every word. So she spoke very quietly is a clause. So it's exactly before it you have to put although or even though. Yeah, he understood every word. Okay, and then move. She didn't get a job even though she had all the necessary qualifications. Yeah, one fact and following by surprising fact. Yeah, she didn't get a job even though she had all the necessary qualifications. Even though she is so amazing in the qualification, she is so smart. That's a clause. That's why although even though is always following by clause, but for despite of is always following by noun, a pronoun, a gerund also. So that's the differences between in spite of, despite of versus although, even though. Okay, we got the what we call it, the slightly the differences between both of them, although or even though versus in spite of or despite of. Let's see this one. Although it was raining heavily, they went to hiking. Although it was raining heavily, they went to hiking. Okay. How can we use in spite of for the same context or the same meaning? Okay, let's see this one. In spite of the heavy rain, they went to hiking. Okay, we got a differences between although and in spite of in the same context, in the same sentences, in the same meaning. Yeah. Okay. Although is always following by a clause. A clause, there is a subject, a verb, and object. Okay. It was a subject. Yeah. Subject, verb, object, or a complement. Yeah. This one. It was raining heavily is a clause, but in spite of the heavy rain is talk about noun. Yeah, heavy rain, talk about the rain. Yeah, it's not talk about what happened. It's not talk about someone that doing something. No. Yeah, so in spite of, this is the differences between although and in spite of. although it's talk about a clothes, maybe a thing or someone that doing something, it was raining, yeah. And then in spite of, it's talk about noun, the heavy rain. It's close is noun. Close, noun, pronoun, verb thing also. Yeah. Okay. Although the weather was fine, they stayed at home. In spite of the fine weather, they stayed at home. So that's the style that you have to know about this one, because when you choose the style of writing, then you have to know also the suitable concession, the suitable word, the suitable linking of word, the suitable contrast that you want to take. Yeah. So just carefully, because a lot of the sentences maybe got the same meaning, but get the differences of using the suitable word, suitable concession, even though conjunction and etc. Yeah. So take it carefully. So although even those talk about close or following by close, in spite of, despite of is following by noun, pronoun, and gerund also. Yeah. For example, in spite of also, in spite of taking a risk. Yeah. In spite of taking a risk. The teacher still want to give a lesson in the crowded mind. Boleh. Yeah, it can. Yeah. Okay, this is gonna be the additional material for us. Though can be used in the same way as although. Okay. So here we got a friend also for although, even though I wasn't keen on the film, I thought the music was beautiful. Though can also get it at the end on the second phrase. This way of expressions is most common in spoken English. We wait age for our food. We wait age for our food. The weather was really nice. Though, yeah. This is the special of the dough, that the dough can be placed on the or in the end of the sentences or in the second phrases. So thanks a lot. That's all that I can explain to you. Yeah, if you don't understand, please watching it again or seeing it twice time. Okay, that's all that I can say to you. If I made a mistake, please forgive me. Let's say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.